Hello beautiful people, how are you doing today? I hope you are good. In today's recipe, we'll be making chocolate filled donuts. First, I'll spread out some flour on my baking pan and I'll set it aside for later use. And in my bowl, I added in all-purpose flour. I also brought in sugar and powdered milk, active yeast, and salt. Now we'll mix all these dry ingredients to combine properly for each of them to come together. And I brought in 1 large egg. I also brought in water and vanilla extract. You can use any flavor of your choice. I brought in melted butter. And we'll start bringing this together. All the measurements for each of these ingredients I added are all listed beside it, and it's very important you measure very well so that you get good donuts. We mix this till we'll get a shaggy dough like this, and we'll start bringing it together with our hands like this. It's important to note that you ensure your yeast is active. Yeast is what will help your dough to rise. If you're not sure if it's active, please add it with water at first and allow it to bloom. If it doesn't bloom, you have to discard it, but if it does, that shows you that your yeast is alive. Now transfer this to my work surface and I added in oil. That will help us to knead this with ease, and we'll start kneading. Your kneading process is very important when you're making donuts. If you have a stand mixer, you can use that for this, but most of the time I prefer to knead with my hands. If it gets too sticky, you have to tidy it up with your scraper. If it gets way too sticky, after kneading for about 2 minutes, you'll have to add in a couple tablespoons of flour. That will help the dough to come together. And we'll knead this between 10 minutes to 15 minutes or 7 minutes, depending on how good you are with kneading. Kneading helps to develop the gluten in the dough. That will give you very good donuts, airy donuts. I will form it into a ball shape and turn it to the other side. We're going to tuck this in very well, tuck it in tightly and nicely. And I added in some flour just for it not to stick. And I poked a hole in the middle and I cut it open. If you don't knead very well, you might end up not having as good donuts as you want to. Now we'll cut this into little portions. I'll be using my kitchen scale to weigh this so that I'll have exact measurement for each of the dough. And each of my dough for today's donut recipe weighed 75 grams. And now let's roll this. I'll pick one of the cut out portions and we'll roll it into a ball just like I'm doing. You roll it tightly into a ball and we'll pinch any excess, and we are going to roll this on our work surface. Roll it and check if there are still any openings. Use your hand to press it together, and because the dough is elastic, it's going to gum together, and we're going to set this aside. Let's do this one more time. It's important you get this. If you don't get it now, when the dough enters the oil, it's going to burst open and you wouldn't like it. Make sure it's tightly pinched together. And you roll it on the table or on your work surface. Roll it till it's nice and tight, and we're going to set it aside. We dropped it into our floured pan. We're going to rotate this clockwise or anti-clockwise. This will help the dough not to stick to the pan when it's proofing. If it sticks to the pan, it's going to become a really big issue for you because you might not be able to lift it into the oil to fry. We'll cover this with my kitchen towel and I'll allow this to rest for between 45 minutes to 1 hour. I live in a warm region. If you live in the cold regions, please, you might have to send this to your oven with the oven turned off. Let's make the filling for our chocolate. I added in powdered milk and I brought in water. Mix this till it's nice and smooth. If you have a hand mixer, you can use that for this. And I also brought in corn flour and we'll stir this to mix it properly. And I also brought in cocoa powder. This is sweetened cocoa powder. You have to add sugar if you want it sweet, if yours is unsweetened, and we'll stir this till it's smooth. And I'll put on the heat and stir continuously for about 5 minutes till it looks like this. And we're going to set this aside to cool completely. And here is after 1 hour. My dough has doubled in size. When you poke your finger at the dough, it should rise back gently without collapsing the air bubbles inside. And in a dry pan on heat, I added in oil, and with my skewer I checked to know if the oil is hot enough, and with these little bubbles that tells me it's hot enough. And we'll start bringing in the dough one after the other. Be gentle when lifting this into the oil so that you don't deflate the air bubbles. It's important to note that you have to use low to medium heat to fry your donuts. If you use high heat, it's going to cook fast on the outside without cooking well on the inside. And if you use low heat, it's going to soak up lots of oil, and your dough must be floating on the oil. It shouldn't sink in. And we're frying for 2 minutes each on both sides on low to medium heat. And our donuts have turned golden brown in color, and we'll have to get it out from the oil. And I'll fry the other batches off the camera. And here are all our fried donuts. This is my piping bag, and I'll bring in the cooled chocolate filling. Please allow this to cool completely before using it. With my dowel rods, I made a hole in each of the dough so that it will be easier for me to fill it up with the chocolate filling. I hope this video was helpful to you. You can leave me any questions or any suggestions, and I'll be glad to hear from you. At Glory Homemaker, we give you value for your time. I'll twist the piping bag and I'll keep pressing it to release the chocolate filling into the donuts. This is way yummy. I want to use this opportunity to say a big thank you to all my subscribers. You all make my day worthwhile. Thank you for checking out my videos. God bless you richly. And if you've watched till now and you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like and share my videos to get amazing content like this. Thank you so much. These donuts are so soft, fluffy and delicious. And you will definitely not stop at one bite. Trust me. You should try this also and have the experience. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.